Magic or Modern or haven't seen this deck before, so basically what this deck does is it fills the discard pile by cycling through all of these creatures, and then it casts Demonic Dread or Violent Outburst to cascade into the card Living End to cheat all of its creatures into play. So on the back of Simian Spirit Guide, you can combo as early as the second turn, depending on how many Street Wraiths you draw. Does everybody know Fair and Balanced Magic starts with Street Wraith? I mean, Alpine Moon is functionally different than Blood Moon. Alpine Moon isn't a degenerate lock your opponent out of the game card. So, like, you wouldn't play Alpine Moon alongside Blood Moon. So, playing Alpine Moon alongside Blood Moon doesn't make any sense other than the, this is a funny meme, let's do a funny meme. I guess it kind of makes sense for that. I'm gonna bottom this. I want a third land at some point, but I do just want to like draw more cyclers. One of the reasons why this deck is so consistent and powerful is because while you're setting up your combo and filling your discard, this matchup is largely unwinnable for Living End because they can sack their entire board to Ravager and then get it all back into play when you Living End. It's not a Ravager, at least. Can I put Moon Tribal in the queue? You could do that with your bad deck for next month, but I think Moon Tribal just sounds very terrible and not competitive. Alright, well, our plan to bottom a lane and draw more cyclers has not come to fruition. Can we just, like, get matches that are reasonable? If you beast it, they just sack everything they have in play and then get their stuff back, and then they get to continue pressuring you with their creature lands. Some days you're the pigeon, other days you're the statue, chat. And that's okay. That's okay. Some days you just gotta take your licks. Alright, let's do our best Ponza impersonation here. I prefer to be the tree falling on the pigeon. Looks like a Taxes variant. Oh, you know what? I probably should have played my fetch land out, right? Because how they've started, it looks like they could be a Leonin Arbiter deck. It's also very possible that they're like Martyr Proc or something like that. It looks like Martyr Proc. Okay, that makes sense. Hey, look, we did a thing, chat. We did a thing. We did it. We did it. Stupid crowns, this is your fault. It's not my fault, Justin. It's okay to cheer with bits. See, aren't the bits fun? You get to get animations, you get to get a crown. You have a path and a squadron hawk. All right. I'll flute my pigs into play here. Oh, they get their Martyr of Sands back. That's just good technology. It's just good technology. No, Jeff, they aren't fun. Why must you hate fun, Justin? Look, I know you like barber shops as a deck, so we know you hate fun as like a fact. We do have a lot of piglets. We do have a pretty reasonable number of piglets. Am I supposed to Stone Rain them during their upkeep next turn? So that way, if they draw a Wrath, they can't cast it? I think that's probably the case, right? Although I guess I don't have lethal anymore, right? Yeah, I'm actually going to play the Horror of the Broken Lands, I think. I don't have a fetchable land left in my deck. Good to know. I guess I could still Stone Rain them here, but then it's still not quite lethal. Squadron Hawk, sign me up. I'm probably supposed to Stone Raid this Field of Ruin. It's been a while since I hit Jeff with salty bits. What's going on, Justin? All of the salty bits are belong to you. I think Just Chaos Ascendancy is a great deck. I think any deck that can have linear turn 2 and turn 3 kills is hard for it to be very bad in Modern in general. I think that's very subjective and depends on the person, Amity. Like, I really dislike playing Lantern Control. I find the game's really tedious and very boring. But there's other people that like that, and that's one of the things that makes Magic a great game, is that there's lots of different ways to play Magic. Magic appeals to lots of different people in lots of different ways. So just because you like doing it doesn't mean that other people like doing it, and vice versa. I definitely understand that there is a subset of players that enjoy playing Lantern Control, and that's great for them. But I think there's probably a much larger subset of players that doesn't enjoy playing against it and probably doesn't enjoy playing with it. Is this Beast Within lethal? Almost, right? 9, 13. If I hit a series of cyclers, this is lethal. No, I miscounted, right? This is only 15. Yeah, I'm dumb. I'm dumb. This is only 15. You have to block one of the 6 power guys or you're dead. Go. So they have Martyr, so they can gain like 15 off the first Martyr and 12 off the second, but they're really just kind of treading water with that, right? Where's a gut shot? Can I play gut shot? That one's probably not good to cascade into. Probably trying to figure out if they want to play and pop the Martyr right away, or if they want to play both Martyrs out and like hold them to chump block. That's probably what they want to do, right? They want to like play both Martyrs out and then like block the 6 power guys and then crack both Martyrs after they block. I probably should have cast this actually last turn, right? Probably should have put a Grey Ogre into play. I mean, is holding a Spirit Guide really helping us play around a Wrath? So they're going to go to 22 here, and then they're taking 9, 13 down to 9. So you have 3 Hawks, then 1 card I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'm supposed to hold Spirit Guide at this point, because if they draw a land and play out all 3 birds, they get to block these 3, and then they take 6 down to 3. So putting the Spirit Guide into play doesn't give me lethal, so there's no reason to do that. That's another reason I love Jeskai Ascendancy combo. It's very good against Lantern Control. Watch the video of Hoaglandia Rising, and you were negotiating with the cult. I laughed my ass off. Thanks again for what you do. Put this towards 4-tracker landfall. Thank you, Isaac. We're actually going to get to 4-tracker landfall today. So 10 out of 10. That's going to be our 4th deck today. So we're going to play some Living End. We're going to play some Blue-Black Fairies, and we're going to wrap up with trackers. Thanks for the support. You don't know how many blocks they can have. If they have a 6th land, I know they have 3 blocks. I know they have 3 Squadron Hawks in their hand. Oh, this is interesting. So they're going to get the 1/1 life linker here, right? So if I would have played the Spirit Guide out, I could play around Ranger of Eos into Serra Ascendant, because this has lifelink, they're going to get to live at Exaxes. Except for Demonic Dread, which says you can't block. And remember, when you Cascade Chat, you can decline to cast the Living End. So we make their thing not block, and then we attack for lethal. Hey, there was a... Can I bump up Bird in the queue? Get out of here. My wife and I really enjoy watching your streams on YouTube, hoping you could play one of our decks. I will be happy to take a look at that later. Bugcatcher Dan, thanks for the support. All right, so what in the heck is going on here? So I think this is just a Faerie Macabre matchup. Yeah, Fairies is going to be our league after this one. I think I want, speaking of fairies, I think I want Faerie Macabre just to, like, remove their martyrs from their discard pile. I want Beast Within for sure, because they probably have Ghostly Prisons in their 75. No, I don't think this is an anger matchup. They're not really an aggressive deck. I can probably trim Fulminator Mage. Like, Stone Raining them isn't particularly good. Our opponent's not playing Soul Sisters. They're playing Martyr Proc, chat. Another Devoted Druid deck. Maybe Nicholas Bolas. Devoted Druid is just, like, really rough to play online. Send it to me and we can think about it. Depending on what it is. It wins by decking the opponent with the millstones. So once Lantern gets enough mill pieces set up, it just starts aggressively milling its opponent. Here's a Martyr. Sand could be anything. Look, if there is one, I am not an expert in many things, but I am certainly an expert in shit tier modern decks. You could probably argue that I am one of the leading experts on identifying shit tier modern decks. I have years of experience and countless hours. Grab a Blood Crypt here, I think. Cycle this Horror of the Broken Lands. Cycle this Horror of the Broken Lands. Play the Blackcleave Cliffs. So again, the reason why I cycled there before playing my land is it gave me the ability to draw a land that wasn't going to heal my opponent, which is nice. Yeah, I've played Dredge a few times on stream. I think it's an okay deck. Dredge is the type of deck where if you're gonna play it, you have to be okay losing to their sideboard cards. A lot of the games you lose with Dredge are just gonna be because they drew their card that's good against your deck, and that's if you're not okay with that, that's not the deck for you. That's a Violent Outburst. God bless. God bless. All right, so I'm going to play this out and pass the turn here. Can we all pour one out for fair and balanced modern staple Simian Spirit Guide? Please cast Rest in Peace, opponent. Please cast Rest in Peace this turn. Do I wanna do the thing here? I probably want to just do the thing, right? Settle the wreckage. You're so rude. That's so rude. Don't get out of here with that talk. They're sacking us. They have Wrath of God. And they show us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They showed us 6 cards there. All right, so we're going to upkeep Beast Within their land next turn to try and dodge this Wrath of God. Fancy Penguin. When is Twitch gonna fix this so I don't have to refresh to call you a dirty shill? I don't know. It's really annoying though, right? I'm kind of surprised that they haven't done that already. Thank you for the third of a year of support. Welcome back. Well, we're gonna cycle the crap out of this guy so that way we can get these Horror of the Broken Land triggers. Oh, that's bad for us. So there's only three copies of Living End in our deck, which means my question is always the same, Stifle. It's always, what problem do you envision the Fairies deck having that you're fixing by adding Path and Settle the Wreckage to your deck? Like what are you doing with those cards that isn't fixable by just playing cards like Damnation and Fatal Push and Cast Down, etc.? pretty good chance we're out of this game. They've gained too much health at this point. They're going to have a bunch of blockers. If they rip a land, they just get to wrath us here anyways. Got them down to double their starting health, right? Maybe. So the problem with suspending Living End is that you have to cast it when it comes off of suspend. So like if they don't clear your board and they can survive, they just wait and let the Living End clear your board. I think it will help versus bad matchups like Eldrazi and Hollowed One. Why are those matchups bad? Isn't Ensnaring Bridge insane in both of those matchups? Why do you settle the Wreckage and Path to Exile do something that Ensnaring Bridge doesn't? Let's do the Stone Rain again. Also just realized this is 4 months. It's been a good time. Thanks for the support, Nicholas. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Welcome to everyone. Hope everyone's having a good Tuesday. Wow, they just conceded. That feels premature to me, but I will take it. All right, we're one and one after pitching the first match to Affinity. Affinity is a very bad matchup for Living End because of Arcbound Ravager. My name's Jeff Hoagland. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. I stream Magic 30 plus hours a week. This week it's going to be closer to 50 with our 24-hour burn stream on Friday. If you're enjoying my stuff, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are quite literally the people that keep me employed. They are the reason that I'm able to be here doing what I do day in and day out. If you're one of the many people in the world who has Amazon Prime, if you link your Amazon account to your Twitch account, they get you Twitch Prime included with that for free. And Twitch Prime gives you a free channel subscription to a channel of your choice every single month here on Twitch. You can also support my content by checking out some of my wonderful sponsors. MTGOtraders.com. I love to buy and sell some Magic Online cards with you. And if you use code Hoagland PayPal at checkout with them, you'll save 8% on your singles orders there. CoolStuffInc.com. Buy and sells a lot of cool stuff, including TCG singles. Using promo code Jeff5, you can save 5% on Magic, Pokemon, and Yu-Gi-Oh cards with them. InkedGaming.com. We'd love to help you customize your gaming experience. Using code Jeff12, you can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags there. And of course, I would like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. Thanks for stopping by today. Please talk to your friendly neighborhood moderator about receiving your complimentary timeout. Peyton Joe asks, how long is the burn stream? The burn stream is going to aim for 24 hours, but I am an old man, so if I end up passing out 20 hours in or so, I'm just saying I warned you. There's a reason why I don't normally do 24-hour streams. We're gonna give it the best, and I'm gonna bring Maddie in for a little while for the mid to tail end of it. So hopefully he can be here to poke me and keep me awake. Does Jeskai control? So my line for what I'm counting as burn or aggressive style decks for Friday is that I'm looking for 4 Goblin Guides and 4 Lightning Bolts in them. So if you look in the donation queue, there is a separate tab on the Google Docs spreadsheet that has, I think there's 15 or 16 burn decks in there. So we're going to play a variety of different red aggressive decks on Friday. It's not just going to be the same red-white burn deck for 24 hours. I got you, Jaw. Sounds good. It's got a couple Cyclers, it's got a Fulminator Mage, it's got a Violent Outburst. Yep, yeah, there's a smattering of different zoo decks. We're going to play some 8-whack decks. We're going to kill some people with Goblin Grenades. I think the only deck I have on the list that doesn't have Goblin Guide in it is we're going to play Pyromancer's Ascension Thing in the Ice combo burn basically at some point. Because that deck seems sweet. But everything's going to be Lightning Bolt Smork focused. What time does it start? I'm thinking I'm going to start early on Friday around 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, but I'll be on by 9 at the absolute latest. I have a feeling you're gonna make a ton of tickets on that stream. Maybe. To set the bar low, a bunch of those aggressive decks are probably better than a lot of the stuff we often play. Am I going to upload the stream to YouTube as a 24-hour video? I am not. I'm gonna break it up. I'm gonna break it up by deck as we do normally. Speaking of Goblin Guides, I think this matchup is bad for us. I think this matchup is bad for us on average. Winning the die roll is definitely good for us. But I think on average, we're a bit of a dog here. Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide. Spirit Guide. Tilt. Am I going to set the record for most matches of Magic played at Magic Online at 24-hour period? That's a good question. I feel like that's something we could realistically be setting. Oh, that was a mistake. I should have cycled my desert in between the two Goblin Guide triggers when we missed the first time. So we're going to 7 here. I don't think I can go to 5, right? Pretty sure we can't afford to go to 5. We're probably dead regardless, but we're almost certainly dead if we go to 5. Oh, you know what? I messed up here. So this is really small, but I think I was supposed to cast Demonic Dread last turn because I have 6, 10, 13, 16 power in my bin, which means that if I would have held Violent Outburst, I could have... If I would have held... I think I'm actually supposed to cycle this Street Wraith here because it puts lethal into play. And if I die, I die. I should have held... Okay, there was a Violent Outburst on top of my deck. I'm sure I'm about to take Xaxes now, but I think I was supposed to do this. Well, that doesn't matter. So they block here. They take 9, 13. All right, they have Bolt, I'm dead here. They have Bolt, I'm dead here. Yep. So I could have sequenced around this. So I think I'm definitely supposed to make them have Bolt there, but I could have played that better to not be in the position that I was in there, I think. Maybe, I guess the blocker changes the dynamic on it too. I don't know, like I said, this sideboard, we basically have 0 cards for this matchup. Shriekmaw is marginally better than Faerie Macabre. So this is a tough matchup for Living End. So someone's asking me earlier, no, you can choose not to cast your Cascade spell. You can choose not to cast a spell with Cascade. You can just, like, Cascade trigger, do nothing, put it back in your deck. Oh, Street Wraith is our fastest start, but Street Wraith against Burn is not great. I don't know. I could see someone smarter than me. I'd believe if someone smarter than me told me I should mulligan this hand. Like I said, I think we need to get pretty lucky to win here. So, someone asked earlier what I think about Living End in the format. The more I think about this deck, the more I kind of come to the conclusion I understand why this deck isn't particularly popular. I think this deck's really good if you're expecting a lot of Tron and Jund and Jeskai and like fair mid-range decks, but I really think this deck, as far as like out-linearing other linear decks go, I think it probably comes up pretty short in that department a lot of the time. Did I just put 7 power into play here? I'm just gonna put 7 power into play, I think. Yeah, I have a few burn variations that seem kind of sweet. They're all in the donation queue if you want to take a peek at them. Yeah, Fulminator Mage can steal games in this matchup too sometimes, for sure. Just like, burns a really low land count deck, so like if they have a non-basic here, we could start running them off it and then potentially kill them. So I'm going to fetch a Swamp here. This means I can't cast my Violent Outburst, but it means I get to avoid giving them point of health, so I think that's worthwhile. Maybe I should have counted. I guess I'm doing 7 and 7, so no, the Violent Outburst shouldn't change the dynamic here. You think this version is better than the mono blue version? I don't think either of these decks are particularly good. I don't have a lot of experience playing either of them, but I think there's probably a reason why they don't have a significant portion of the metagame. I think there's a reason why you don't show up to a tournament expecting to play against Living End. I am entertaining all sweet ideas for the burn stream, so feel free to drop me private. I'm not guaranteeing every Goblin deck that gets submitted will be played. I am guaranteeing that they'll be considered, though. No, I'm not a big fan of the Blue Moon style decks. If you didn't see us stream with, what's it called? We had this is lethal, right? Because we're gonna give them 1 health to put them to 7, but then Violent Outburst is lethal. If you haven't seen the Possibility Storm variation of Blue Moon that we've played, you should definitely check that out. But I'm not a big fan of like the Madcap builds, or any of the other combo builds really. Like Through the Breach and Madcap and all the other variations, they always felt kind of clunky and awkward. Hey, the Boneless Wing Bonarking, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. I do appreciate that. Thanks for the 3rd of a year. Welcome back. For those that are new to the channel, specifically new to the MTG, if you want to talk about why a decision in the deck that we're currently playing is wrong, you need to explain yourself more than what you did. I need you to tell me why you think the cards that we're playing are not optimal. Don't just say, I think they're bad. Say, I think they're bad because, and then take some time and explain yourself, please. Welcome everybody to be familiar with the chat rules if you're going to chat here. We like to encourage intelligent discourse, not just people saying that other people's decisions are bad or wrong. Alright, so what am I doing here? I think I'm just playing this in passing. I think we're just gonna be much too slow on the draw here. That is the reason I love your stream. Thanks, Lang's Librarian. Welcome. I could have turned 1 Shriekmaw. That's interesting. Was that the right play? I don't know. I actually didn't consider that. But now that I'm considering it, is it right to do? I'm just supposed to put 7 power out here again, I think, right? Hey, Joe with the $40 donation. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Just Kai Tefri, please. Thank you. Thank you very much for the support. I'm happy to get that one back into the queue. Hopefully we'll be a little bit more successful than last time we ran it through. This is what your Friday is going to look like. Pay attention, class. I think I'm just supposed to, like, put 7 power into play and cross my fingers here. The problem is I'm going to 7 off of this, and then, like, you know, they have 4 cards in their hand after they draw for the turn. I think Flame of Kelt, they had a land and a 3rd creature. This is really good for us. Alright, so in response to the second Goblin Guide trigger, we'll Violent Outburst to clear the top card of our deck. So they only have 2 cards left here, so if we're exceptionally lucky, we could maybe steal this game. Flame of Keld. I'm not sure if Keld is good enough. Basically, the question you have to ask yourself in Burn is, like, is this card I'm playing, especially if it costs 2 mana, gonna get me, like, 3.5 damage worth of damage, effectively? And I'm not sure that that card does that consistently enough for you. We've played 3 copies of Living End, so there are no more Living Ends in our deck. So we're in an okay spot right now, but again, they have 2 cards in their hand, and they're not dead for 3 attacks. So, like, this is, again, why I think this deck probably struggles against a lot of the linear decks in the format, because when we combo, we don't guaranteed kill them. They drew a 4th land. That's pretty good for us. I'm a big fan of my Burn opponent drawing 4 lands. I'm not going to fetch because I don't want to die. If I fetch, any 3 damage spell kills us. Alright. I need one more glorious brick, opponent. Brick by glorious brick. Brick by glorious brick. Can I use, is it wrong to use my one-time dealer here? I feel like I'd like to cash in my one-time dealer. Survey says, beep, 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 beep. Do you get one of those an hour on Friday, right? The person in chat that commented that we should have left a creature back there, I think you're right. Because attacking with the Street Wraith didn't take a turn off the clock, and it left our opponent open to being able to draw Swift Spear Goblin Guides to kill us. So I think the person, I didn't catch the username. But we definitely, yeah, deft fangirl. We should have left a creature back. Yeah, the Stream Decker update looks fantastic. It's nice that it's, like, off to the side and slides out instead of, like, being this gaudy button. It was good before, but it's better now. All right, we're 2-2 now. I feel like we're 2-2. We're 2-1. We're winning so much magic. Oh my sweet summer child. Oh, my sweet, sweet summer child. If only they knew. If only they knew what they had gotten themselves into. Your move, Yugi boy. This is all I got. Some of these decks play Crypt Incursion. If we get Crypt Incursions here, we're gonna be in a bad way. I think I want to stop on their upkeep here. And Violent Outburst. If they have a main deck Crypt Incursion, we're just not winning the game. They have their main deck Incursion, so don't play around things you can't beat. What a fun, awkward matchup. Like, they have main deck Crypt Incursion, but, like, their mill plan is bad against our Violent Outburst. Well, we tried. We tried. I have 0 sideboard cards, so I'm going to click submit. Hopefully run it back. Peace, Joe. Thank you. Thank you for the support. No, I don't think so. I think they knew what was up and they knew their only way to lose the game and they weren't going to tap below 3. I think giving them more chances to draw their Crypt Incursion is wrong. I heard your argument for banning Ancient Strength from last night. I was wondering about if banning the cards the cantrips look for instead of the cantrip would be an okay road. I don't know. Like I said, I think creating more diverse gameplay in terms of like how the games play out is valuable, rather than just like having all of your decks be Turbo Xerox decks and getting to do the same thing every game. No. You could have waited till 6 mana and do the double Living End. Yeah, maybe, but like, again, that gives my opponent more time to execute their game plan and assumes that they're not going to have double Crypt Incursion. Like, there's no guarantee that I'm going to hit all my lands. There's no guarantee that they're not going to mill my Living Ends before then. Like, there's a real cost associated with waiting. Violent Outburst. Violent Outburst. Alright, so I 10 out of 10 just like upkeep Beast within a land tier, right? This way they just never get mana to Crypt Incursion, and then next turn I get to go cycle Horror of the Broken Lands, Demonic Dread. I think the mill decks that are built with a control primary game plan that mill as an eventual win condition are probably fine. We actually have mill close to the top of the queue again. We're going to play a variation that does that pretty soon. Yeah, I'm giving them a creature with Beast Within. That's why Beast Within is good in this deck. That's why Beast Within is great. I'm actually going to Demonic Dread using the Spirit Guide because I don't want them to mill me and then mill all my copies of Living End by mistake here. So I'm going to cast this, retain priority, and then Fetch Shock and cycle this Desert Cerodon in response here. Could we pay you more to do a comp league? No. My focus isn't on making Magic Online tickets, and the only reason to play competitive leagues as opposed to the friendly leagues is because you want to gamble more. And my goal while streaming isn't to gamble more. My goal while streaming is to play interesting decks and fun games of Magic. We are basically Grixis Shadow, yep. As someone who's played probably 4 digits worth of matches in both friendly and competitive modern leagues, the caliber of play and the opponents and the decks that you play against are very similar. They're arguably identical in both. You see the same people making boneheaded mistakes in both types of events. You see same people making good plays with good decks in both types of events. Yeah, Mox, but again, that's gambling more. Mox QPs are more prizes. Your goal in playing the competitive leagues is to obtain more prizes than playing the friendly league. I am going to attempt to stream for 24 hours on Friday. I guess for the right amount of money, I will do anything. I just think, playing the friendly leagues also gives me the flexibility to play more than 3 matches if we have a bad run with something sweet. It's not healthy, but for, $2,000, I'll do it every once in a while. Yeah, but Hallowed One is gambling for the sake of playing a sweet game of Magic. Gambling and playing higher prize variance leagues is gambling for the sake of making more prizes. This is a keep. This probably isn't good enough, right? The Beast Withins are kind of mediocre. I have a Living End in the opener. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan this, I think. God, this hand is rancid. Everybody can check close 7 and unkeepable 6 off your bingo cards. I'm gonna bottom this looking for more cyclers and lands. I am exceptional at drawing Living End. If my Magic deck is named after a card and I don't want to draw that card, it is fucking glued to my opening hand every game without fail. This 5 is very good, I agree. Opponent also went to 5 though, so we've got that going for us. There's like 2 types of deck names, right? There's like decks that are named after a card and they always want to draw that 4 of, and there's decks that are named after cards and you're like, I never want to draw the card my deck is named after ever, ever, ever. I think I'm going to set the line at 50 if you really want to see me gamble more for some reason. Because again, the only reason to play the competitive leagues over the friendly leagues is because you want to see me gamble more. And again, like, gambling for prizes is not something I want to be focusing on. And it's funny, like, when I stream Legacy, there's only competitive leagues for Legacy, so, like, the variance swings on the amount of tickets I have when we have Legacy days is huge. We're just, like, not beating this card, right? I guess if they pop it, I get to Outburst in response now. I guess I can, like, play my lands out and, like, cycle and stuff. And, like, eventually have, like, double Outburst. Yeah, we can set up double Outburst, right? I just need one more land for that. Perfect. Perfect. So we're not beating Crypt Incursion. We're not beating Crypt Incursion, but we can beat this Spell Bomb. Think I'm supposed to Beast Within the Swamp? That's probably not a bad idea. I'm gonna upkeep Beast Within their Swamp, and then the following turn I can double Outburst. I mean, if I Beast Within the Swamp here, chat, I still lose to Incursion here, because they get to Spell Bomb me, I Outburst in response, they Incursion me in response. Yeah, but if they GQ themselves, yeah, I think we're dead to Incursion regardless of how I slice this, and I get to Stone Rain them here, I guess, which is fun, but like, all right, we're down one living end. I should Outburst with it on the stack. I should Outburst with it on the stack. Cinnabar, thank you very much for the Twitch Prime support. There's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now. Thanks for supporting mine this month with your Prime. Welcome. Yeah, all we ended up doing here, so Beast Within the Swamp was a bad play because of the Ghost Quarter. So I should have just gone for it during their last turn. We'll go for it now, but I definitely should have just gone for it last turn. I gave them one extra card to potentially draw a Crypt Incursion here. Awesome, welcome to a live one. Glad you enjoy the YouTube stuff. As a heads up to any YouTube viewers watching in the future, I don't have to be live for you to link your Twitch Prime and subscribe here. So if your schedule doesn't line up quite with mine and you enjoy the YouTube stuff, feel free to poke on into the channel even when I'm offline and send the Prime my way. I do appreciate it. And like I said, we weren't beating the Crypt Incursion there. And there's a very real possibility that our opponent drew the Crypt Incursion last turn. So by Beast Withining, we gave them an extra card draw to draw the card that they wanted. I'm conceding because we're not reassembling from this, chat. They have a Nile Spellbomb here. They've already milled our second living end, and I have a third one in my deck. There's a Spellbomb in play, chat. There's a Spellbomb in play. And then once I burn through the Spellbomb with the other Outburst, they're going to have no living ends left in my deck, which gives them infinite time to mill me out. So there is a possibility that they had the Crypt Incursion in their hand already, but again, we gave them one more draw to get there when I didn't need to because of my sequencing. Those are the things you need to focus on if you're trying to become a better Magic player. You need to think about the small things that you could have done differently in order to give yourself better percentage points towards winning the match of Magic that you were playing. You can't have control over everything, Magic has variance by design in it, but you can focus on the little decisions you had that gave your opponent extra percentage points. We are playing fairies next. Yes, we are playing fairies next. The worst part, if I want to take fairies to the open, is that people are going to ask me what kind of costume I'm going to wear, and I don't think I'm going to wear a fairies costume to the open, believe it or not. Tinkerhoog. To not be able to scroll forward. It's watching Twitch versus YouTube is a different experience. Yeah, I'm going to the Indianapolis Open next month. I think so. People ask me what paper events I have coming up. I don't go to a ton of paper events anymore, but I'm planning to go to the Open in Indianapolis at the end of July, and I'm planning to go to the Team Open in Las Vegas in November, are the events I'm planning to attend. And I may or may not, I think there's a Dallas Open there's a Dallas Open in November sometime, I think. I might do that too, because one of my wife's girlfriends lives in Dallas, so we might go visit. That one's not locked in though. I'm definitely going to Indy and Vegas, barring any family emergencies though. Why those specifically? Well, Indy's very close to me, so it is a lower cost than flying to an open. And Vegas is a team event, and Kent Ketter's going to fly out and play with Matt and I, which should be fun. Pictures and signatures are great. I love damaging people's property. All right, I'm not sure we're going to beat this scavenging ooze here, chat. Yes, Vegas is usually also a cheap flight because they want to get you to Vegas to spend money. I think we're dead, chat. I think we're dead, chat. I said one of my wife's girlfriends, one of her friends from high school. Chat, thinking the worst of me. Unlike some people in the Magic community, I know a lot of people hate me, but I actually experience things like morality and commitment to my significant other. So, you know, there's nothing fishy going on there. Let's not name names. Let's just say that for me personally, I think those things are important. So I maintain the vows that I have made in my life. What other people do in their time, that's their business. But don't imply things like that about me, because I take that seriously. Hey, Bug Helper, thank you for the 2-month resubscription and welcome back. I do appreciate the continued support. Thanks for re-upping. I didn't name any names. I'm just saying that I made a commitment to my wife, and I don't do things like that because I think those commitments matter. And if you don't, that's fine. That's your prerogative. I know there's people that don't. All right, so we're gonna be forced to Violent Outburst here with just 2 things in the bin, which kind of sucks, but I need to clear this pressure off the table. Sweet, this Violent Outburst is great. Get more value. Yeah, Alpine Moon seems sweet. Alpine Moon is not going to take Tron out of the format any more than it took any of the other things out of the format. We actually might not be able to beat this Scavenging Ooze that's left over, huh? There's this Scavenging Ooze that's left over. That's going to come back because we had to kill that earlier. I think that Scavenging Ooze is actually just going to beat our 2 idiots here in play. I guess we have like some chump blockers, but... All right, I'm gonna cast this. I'm gonna play this. It's a shame we didn't hit any more cyclers, because we could have been able to pump this up. I actually think this matchup's pretty reasonable for us. We had a pretty slow draw on the draw, so... And we have drawn a lot of lands. This deck actually doesn't play that many lands in it, right? It's 18 lands. Yeah, the Living End deck is usually pretty favorable in this matchup, I think. I think I'm just supposed to take this hit. If we draw a pile of cyclers, this Horror of the Broken Lands forces a chump block. The Can't Block card is lethal here, right? Demonic Dread would have been lethal there. Instead, we drew another brick. Brick by Glorious Brick. I have to double chump block next turn, which means we're probably out of outs. It's unfortunate. Yeah, Demonic Dread would have been lethal there. A bunch of cyclers would have been lethal there. This is definitely a Shriekmaw matchup, right? Definitely a Shriekmaw matchup. Faerie Macabre may or may not be good. Is this a matchup where I want to Fulminator Mage them? Actually, Archfiend is probably a little bit slow and clunky, right? I feel like Archfiend's a little bit slow and clunky. Are the Beast Withins good? I guess they could have... They can't really play any permanent base disruption I need to Beast Within, right? I think I'd rather leave in these and bring in my Shriekmaws. Yeah, the Stream Decker update was really slick. I think I like this setup. Again, by no means a Living End expert, but we're trying our best here. Doing what we can to get by. I'm gonna shock this one in and pass the turn. Yeah, I guess Leyline of the Void is a card they could have, but we're probably not beating that one anyways, right? Yeah, I don't know that we're going to suspend it. Suspending Living End is not very good in this matchup, believe it or not. That's a Bobby, sure. All right, well, we're definitely just going like cycle into Outburst next turn, right? All right. They concede. I appreciate a Jund player that understands how this works. Yeah, I was gonna Macabre. No, the As Foretold Living End deck feels kind of clunky. It has a hard time consistently playing the Living End early, and the fact that it doesn't have good board interaction past that means it gets run over a lot of the time. The Artifact Charge Counter deck, that was, what is that deck called? Dice Factory. It was called Dice Factory, is what that one was called. This hand's pretty good. At least we get to bottom that one. At least we get to bottom that one. I don't know what Magistrate Scepter does. I mean, like, I have to draw, like, 5 lands and 2 Violent Outbursts, right? And there's, like, no way they don't. I boarded out the Beast Withins. Alright, we're out of cyclers. Yeah, so I think we got a little unlucky to lose the first game in that match. I think there's a pretty solid reason why Living End isn't a deck that you see terribly often in this format. This deck had a little bit of a resurgence right after Bloodbraid Elf was introduced back to the format because there were a bunch of people playing Jund. I think even though we just lost that last match to Jund, there's one, I probably boarded incorrectly in that third game. 2, I think on average, even though we lost that match, this deck's a little bit favored in that matchup. But I think this deck doesn't line up well against the other linear decks in the format just because the turn you combo, you generally don't kill them for 2 or 3 more turns. And even then, like, you don't combo super consistently. So I think if you're playing in a metagame where you know there's a lot of mid-range decks and Tron decks at your local game store, I think this is a perfectly fine deck, but I think by and large it's not well suited in like the diverse modern field that I would expect to play against going to like an open or a Grand Prix or a large tournament outside of a local game store.